All right, we've got 28 people in.
Nick Boulevard, yeah. Throwing away empty bottles, all worthless. Let's get to work in, cleaning up your surface. Remember riding on the metro? It's kind of hard when you're working on your retro. Littering, they don't want to do that. Pick up your trash. Jack, it's a lot of trash. You should know it's full of yards. Yeah, I'm Mick, cleaning on the boulevard. I'ma tell my friends, you should tell your friends. In this world, let's all begin. Flowers with a little bit of wind. The whole world clean the end. We need to save our environment and go free. Cut down trees. And go green. And go green.
All right, everyone's still coming in. All right, enough of that. Yeah. All right, y'all. Hello. So I have a question. How is it going with your model so far? Have you come up with an idea? If you haven't, if you're new to my class, have you thought of something yet that you could create? And if you are in my original class, the older class, what are you going to make for your model? What is it that what is something that you've decided that you're going to create? Can you write it in the chat box? What do you guys think? What you want to share something that they're starting to work on?
Yeah, Miss Wallace. So I don't know about, again, I'm a little skeptical on using Tinkercad. I used it in 8th grade in a class, and I'm not too fond of it. But I was I was looking at how, because I was like thinking about, okay, there's carbon dioxide in the air, and cars produce carbon dioxide, right? When they're, well, and that's the reason that the atmosphere is heating up, right? But trees and plants, you know, they take carbon dioxide and turn it into oxygen. That's a chemical process. So I was like, I was kind of like, I wonder why this hasn't been done before, but what if the carbon dioxide produced by all these, like, in the meantime, whilst we work on getting rid of using fossil fuel as a whole, if we're going to be producing carbon dioxide, why not create a device that converts that carbon dioxide into oxygen to release into the atmosphere?
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, if we've examined the chemical process of trees and plants, it's most likely doable.
It's very doable. That is,
yeah, so
very, very doable, right?
So yeah, so I was thinking about that, like,
exactly. So one of the things that I gave out to 9th graders earlier, and like when I get a chance to get my life together and have y'all kits ready to pass out, hopefully sooner than later, and you all, that's why I was so intrigued by the kombucha kits, honestly, because when you're doing kombucha and when you're putting it into like the you know, it's definitely doing carbon dioxide. It's actually creating CO2. But if you put into the anaerobic process, it would be actually consuming. We'll take that back. Well, let's scratch that. Scratch that. Let me rephrase. What I am intrigued about are finding ways that are really simple that we could actually generate oxygen, and maybe at the same time create ways that might even create fuel sources. Okay, so like
see, my only
like two birds with one stone we might be able to do. So
sure. My only thing is that I don't want it to be an excuse, whereas like, oh, now that we have devices that can create oxygen, get rid of trees. No, I think it has to be a double effort to, like, because there are plenty of organizations that are still planting trees all over the place, right? But this is this is more so what I was thinking, like a temporary solution, whereas the greater goal is to eventually, not use fossil fuels, period. But in the meantime,
Right.
why not?
Well, yeah, it was a good. You're going along the right path of thinking. All right, so I'm gonna share co-host privileges with Milo. Good morning, Miss Lytle. I'm gonna share with you, and I was trying to do that when you, well, it kept moving. Make co-host. There we go. All right. Um, so great train of thought. Now, what I'm doing right now, you guys, is I am going to share this information with another class that I won't be able to see. So you guys, hi out there that I don't get to see you all. Um, I'm sharing an overview of what we're going to do, and then I'm gonna go back in, stop the video, and then we're going to dive into more specific things about your class and your situation. Okay. And so AskNature.org, you all, is a great tool. If you have not taken the time yet, how many of you, raise your hand on your screen, how many of you use the raise hand tool, have looked at AskNature.org? I still see some people. All right, I see some of you have. Some of you have not yet. Some of you have, some of you have not. Okay. All right. Emit. Okay. For those of you who have not, just real quickly, I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I just want to go to the website, and this is to help others. Real fast, real quick. I can't emphasize this enough. Please go to asknature.org. Use it as a search tool. So if, for instance, we just had Dylan say, I want to create something that's going to make oxygen. So what I would type is oxygen in, see what is out there that will, so maybe some inspired ideas. And the first thing I see pop up is algae turf scrubbers. Maybe algae might be the solution to our problems. And to be honest with you, I think it just might. So um, use this website to find some ideas that you guys could create. So you've got inspired idea, you have biological strategies. You can look and see what other organisms are doing to make oxygen or to absorb carbon dioxide. Maybe you want to look at carbon dioxide and see what's out there that's going to absorb carbon dioxide. So these are things that you could do. And of course, you can hit more results and look down further. Look through the database, use it, okay? And then use that as your tool. I'm gonna go back to blowing this up a little bit. All right, so what we're gonna do today, I'm gonna give, all right, so I have heard already that some of you all are having issues using Tinkercad, and that's okay, and that's great. I'm like, I was trying to be a stickler about sticking with Tinkercad, and I understand there's issues, but my main problem is that you all, whatever you create needs to be well done. And so you guys who are just now joining my class, I mentioned to the last class that whatever project and product you come up with, I was going to enter it into the Biomimicry Youth Design Challenge. Oh, Valeria's out there. So if we're going to do this Biomimicry Youth Design Challenge, and I have designed this project so that you can enter the Youth Design Challenge, you've got to be able to have a well thought out model or demonstration sketch or drawing that shows the process. So this is the rubric. Says clarity of process. It says the team clearly articulates their design process, reasons for decisions made, and key insights along the way. Sketches, models, or other process documentation are exceptional and clearly show how the team approached the defining selected design problem, researching natural models and developing biomimicry design solutions. So this is the main box that I'm using as my idea of how are we going to show what this process is this thing that you're creating to solve whatever problem that you choose, right? So you guys are going to be entering this contest. So that's why I was leaning you towards Tinkercad. So if Tinkercad is not working and you're just like, Miss Wallace, I can't do it, I'm going to allow you to use paper, but you have got to do a good job with it. Okay. All right.
Graph paper will probably be the best option.
Right, Dylan. Graph paper or white paper. Some people are really great drawers and can free sketch that. That's fine. But I do not want some roughly thrown out design that's, and you're like, Miss Watts, I can't draw. That's why I'm leaning you towards Tinkercad. Now let's just say you can't draw. You're like, I can't get Tinkercad to work. There's Minecraft out there that can work. There's other software. You might, I want you to find, you're going to have to look for alternative ways, but it needs to be neat. All right. So like, I don't know crap, no mess. All right. So like, I need it to be neat. Um, so back to here. All right. So use AskNature.org to your advantage. For those of you who have still not signed up for Tinkercad, what you will do is I have already shared with you your class code in the chat box earlier. And for you all who are on the internet, you have a class code that your teacher is going to link to your class. And then you have a nickname, or you can sign up with the email address for Tinkercad. And there are instructions on um, the Canvas site about how to design your three-dimensional model. And so for you all who are in the class right now, what I'd like for you all, I have linked as well on the tutorial. It says how to build 3D model with Tinkercad. On the tutorial, you'll notice there's a link under right above the videos that I embedded. Some people are having problems downloading or watching them. They're slow or something like that. I actually put the link where I got the videos from. I just took part of this and like tweaked it to my own usage. But these videos came from number 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 down here, prototype steps. So if you click on like step 1, the video is there. So it might be better for you all to play the video from the source than using what I embedded on Canvas. All right. So that may be your option. So if you're stuck on Tinkercad and it's like, I can't figure it out, I'm frustrated, maybe this will help. And then if this doesn't help and you really can't figure it out, I made it due next Friday, then use paper. Okay. But it needs to be neat. Has to be neat. All right. Any questions about this? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? All right. So, definitely take the time and go through and look through Tinkercad. All right. I want to get started today. We watched the video last class, I believe, from about biomimicry, and we stopped where you all were creating. We're getting ready to get started on your models. And am I incorrect in assuming that? Is that where we stopped? Did everyone get into Tinkercad?
No.
Nope. So we still have some people in here who have not. Christian was able to, maybe. All right. So this is what we'll do. I'm going to go ahead and talk for maybe like 10 more minutes. Ask you guys a few questions to kind of get your minds thinking about your purpose. And then I'm going to give you 20 minutes, 25 minutes to work on your models in class. Okay. And that way you can ask me questions. And then we'll come back and kind of go back over a few more things for class, and then I'll let you go. Okay. All right. So here we go. So in the, let's see, how we're going to start. Oh, before I start that process, just wanted to go over real fast as well in the module. What am I expecting? Just to make sure you're clear. You're going to come up with a problem, and then you're going to tell me the constraints and the criteria. What are things that you need in order to make your model, and what are the things you need that will prevent you from making your model? Things you got to think about that are like problems that you may run into or aspects that will limit your model. So definitely fill that out for 25 points, and then go through how to build a 3D model with the Tinkercad like I just described. And then you're actually going to build that model or sketch the model if you can't get the building done on the Tinkercad. And you'll turn that in next Friday. That is going to be January the 22nd. Okay. So that's how long you have. And I have attached a rubric. And the reason why I put this rubric, this is the design rubric, a challenge rubric that we'll be participating in. You know, I'd like for you to take some time to kind of read through this, because this is the level that we want to ascend to so that we can enter this competition. All right. So I'm sorry I didn't tell the 10th graders this, but you all are entering this. So definitely.
So Miss Wallace,
Yes.
all we have to do then for today's Friday assignment is to turn in that document?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And then I have a discussion post as well, but I'm not making that due until next.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah. So what this is, it's
But we have Monday off, so.
yeah. So this is talking about environmental racism. Why should I care? And there's two different TED Talks that are on here. One of them is by Van Jones from the United States. And another one is by David Lamb in England. And so is even though he's in England, his story is relevant to us. And Van Jones talks about the garbage and plastic pollution as well. So both of them have really great stories to talk about. And so I like to know, how does this make you feel, and why is environmental justice important, and should you even care about it? So like, I would like to know what your thoughts are. And because there are almost 230 of you all, and I have not figured out how to break it down per class yet, so that's my fault. I got to get better with Canvas. You are going to have like a big stream of people responding and talking, so it's going to be a lot. So I was going to give you guys a couple of weeks to work on that. All right. So back to modules. So what's due Friday is your constraints and your criteria to make your model. Your models will be due next week, and then you have a discussion post. All right. So moving on back to the presentation. All right, I am going to play a clip for you all, okay? And this is a clip of an urban area. And I'd like to know, how are urban areas affecting biodiversity based on the clip? And what are some solutions that you saw in this video, okay? And we're gonna go through some data slides in a minute. All right, so here we go. All right, y'all. I just saw these comments. Hold on. I'm reading them now. All right.
Miss Wallace, I can't hear anything.
Y'all can't hear any of that?
No, I can't.
You don't hear the birds chirping and all that? Okay.
I can hear it.
I can hear it as well.
Like nobody's talking. It's just showing you scenery. Can you hear that part? Jarvis?
Can you say that again for me, please?
Like no one's talking. It's just scenes of pictures.
Yeah, I just see pictures.
Yeah, like no one is like talking at all. And you can just...
Yeah, I just see pictures though. I don't hear anything.
Okay. Well, I'll try one thing, and then if that doesn't work, it's no one talking. So let me
Are we supposed to talk? I thought it was just a video that
not
we would.
yeah, it's no one talking. I'm gonna hit share sound and optimize video clip, and then hit share, and then I'm gonna reshare. All right, let's try it. Maybe you can hear it better now. Let me know. And then it's gonna cut off at this 15 minutes. So you only have like 2 minutes left. Okay.
I can hear it now.
All right. So, what were some nature-based solutions that you saw in the video? Can you write them down? Evie, I'm sending you your stuff. your user, if you need your save changes. All right, I saw you, Amari. There you go, Evie, and then Amari. Good, bridge, yeah, the bridge. Thank you, Jairus. The bridge is one solution. And then, oh, you guys are fine. This is better to do it this way instead of like stopping to do all of this. Who else am I missing? Oh, Amari, gotta do Amari. What other solutions did you see? Amari. Green housing, yes. What about the housing specifically? Because I saw like a lot of different different ones. The light reflected off the sprinklers for the jungle plants. Yep. Bird houses, yes. Good, good. Who is baby Pluto? Can y'all change your name to your real name, please? How am I gonna know your name if you put some weird name down there? Y'all don't change this stuff. Okay. All right. What else? Is there a survey? All right, let's see. There may not be a survey. Let me put the link. So are you having a hard time changing your name? All right. Evie, try this. Okay, see if that works. Well, yes, thank you. Because I was getting ready to ask that question. Where is this city? Yes, thank you. Because I was about to head that way.
Australia, Sydney.
It's actually Singapore. So Walt was right.
Aw.
All right. And I was hoping that maybe some of the ninth graders had noticed that. Remember, we started the beginning of the year off and I was showing you pictures of like stuff that we could potentially do. Like, and I showed you a picture of the this let me show you. Go back. Yeah, you remember Austin. Good. All right. Let's see if I hit play again. Here, if you go back to the end. Yeah. I showed you guys a picture of this. I didn't have the video at the time, right? So this is actually a picture of what it looks like. So this is Singapore. And Singapore is almost like light years ahead of us in thinking about ways we can incorporate nature into architecture, into our city life, our urban life, okay? You can't see it? Oh, you can't see it. Can y'all still see my screen? No? Stop share, reshare. All right. Sorry. Did y'all not see it earlier? This? Can you see it now? I hope. Okay. All right. So Singapore, they're hopefully y'all can see it. Austin, you can see it? No. Okay, I'm gonna assume you can see it because you're not saying no. Yes. Okay, great. All right. All right. So, you know, Singapore has really been intentional about thinking about ways they can incorporate nature. I don't see anything, but why I still can't access anything from the class. When I go to the classes on Tinkercad, I see Nikki Wallace environmental science, but can't click on anything. Oh, Evie, you know what? I'm gonna have to at the end. Can we work out and see what we can do to fix that? Because I'm not sure what's going on either. All right. Well, don't leave before I help you with that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So one of the things we don't do in the United States enough of, and so there are cities that are the exception. Kendall, you said my parents are from Singapore, and I've always. Oh, wow. Maybe, man, it would be so great if you do get the opportunity to go over there and then actually see that and experience that. But yeah, and maybe make your parents, your grandparents more aware of that as well. That'd be cool. But I am hopeful that maybe, here in the United States that we can start thinking about ways we can create more nature-based solutions, more biomimetic solutions into our environments that we live in. So, and why is this important? So I'm gonna go back up. So based on this, and I had somebody, last class was interesting. So we're not gonna get in groups. So I just like for you to look at this graph and tell me, what do y'all think? So you can come off mute, or you can, I'd like for you to come off mute, someone. Let me make it where I can see everybody. You can raise your hand and I'll pick you. I don't see everybody right now. Whoops. Oh my God, why did it do that? Sorry. No wonder it's doing all this. I've got like 1,000. I have so many tabs open over here. It's confused. Man, stop it. Okay. Great. All right. This is crazy. My computer just went black. Great. Stop sharing real fast. Can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me?
Hey, yo, Miss Wallace, we can see and hear you.
Okay.
Yeah,
It started to freeze up and the screen went black. Okay. All right. Yes. All right. So I am so sorry. That is odd. All right. Anyway, so here we go. What is this saying about human population projections? This graph. And let me reshare this screen. All right. There we go. Whew. There y'all went. I was like, I couldn't find you. I couldn't find the video. I don't see names. I don't see anybody. Okay, there we go. All right. So anyone, what is it saying about the human population projections? I see someone raise their hand on here that I can't see there. Riley, are you raising your hand?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
That it's like started rising at a very escalating rate, and it's expected to rise even more.
Riley, awesome. So it says over the last 12,000 years. Now I had someone last class say, you know, Miss Wallace, I don't know if this is accurate because who was keeping track of the population BCE? Did they really have all the populations around the world counted for back in 10,000 BCE? All right, point taken. All right, point taken. But these are rough estimates, right? But they know at least from like the 50s, 40s, 1800s, maybe even 1800s from a European point of view that they've noticed that, you know, the population rates have exponentially increased, okay? So we could take it from, you know, the other stuff you might take with a grain of salt. Maybe there's some variance there. But for overall, the trend is that in the last 50, 60, 70 years, right, the population has just boomed. So what does that say about, and is it the same for animals? So let's look at this graph. So we have two different graphs here. One says highly conservative estimate and one says conservative estimate. So these are estimates. They're not just, you know, they're estimating through some counting that they've done, some traps, they've probably gone out and counted in an area and then multiplied it over a certain area to make some assumptions about how many mammals, birds, vertebrates, and other vertebrates are in a certain that are in a certain area. And then they interpreted that to other areas around the world and they came up with this estimate, okay? And so there's time intervals between the 1900s and 2014. They probably went back and looked to see, like, did some radiocarbon dating to see back in the 1500s how many vertebrate and animals there were then versus today that are no longer present, because these are cumulative extinctions as a percent of the IUCN evaluated species, okay? So these numbers demonstrate how many mammals, birds, vertebrate are now extinct. Okay? So does anyone notice anything different, anything different between the two graphs here? Do you notice things that are similar? What do you see? Samara. I think your hand is up. No, yes, no. Hand taken down now. All right, I see some stuff in the. All right, so I see Dylan said the human population is around 4 times larger than it should be. That was about humans. So, okay, I got you. That was an accident. Does anyone want to compare the two? Okay, what about birds? Are they the same in both?
You can see on the first one on A, and
Mhm.
then B, you see the birds had declined a little bit, and then vertebrates did an incline, and other vertebrates stay still.
Yeah, right. So there is some variance here. You're exactly right, right? So there are some variances here between, what other animals outside of mammals have gone extinct. Birds are harder to track. All right. You all have on your iPads now this app called Merlin, and I hope that at some point we can start using Merlin. You guys have used the iNaturalist app, but you have not really taken time to go through Merlin yet. And so my class did a bio blitz earlier in the year, and you guys, I believe, did one as well. But I want to invite us, and we're gonna at some point look at birds. Birds are a little tricky, tricky. They like to hide, and so you'll notice it's harder to track them. But scientists have done a good job, but noticing and being able to count birds, and by listening to sounds and looking at evidence that they leave behind and their nesting. But one of the things that I have noticed, and I'd like to even do a little bit more investigation, is like now during the time of COVID, when people were sitting and not moving a lot, there were reports that people were noticing like some of the animals were coming back into areas that we normally were inhabiting and moving around in. So I'm wondering if that had a direct impact on the amount of bird populations. So that's something we can investigate in Merlin that's on your iPads. Anyway, the amount of species that are going extinct basically are increasing based on this graph. So who can tell me on this next one, what do they see? So on the left, there are biodiversity hotspots. If it's red, really high biodiversity. If it's like purple, light purple, gray, there's low biodiversity. And then on the right, you've got very low populations that are like yellowish white to like red. Can anybody tell me what they notice between the two? Christian, is your hand up? You are muted if you're talking. You weren't muted, I think, but you are. Are you talking?
I'm thinking about what I'm about to say.
Okay. So human populations, red, biodiversity, lots of biodiversity here. Human populations look like it's a lot, they're red. Biodiversity, if there's a lot. Human populations. Can I make the chat box wider?
Does the map on the right also kind of correlate with like national parks and stuff? Like you can see where the Smoky Mountains are, and that's where it's like the most diverse near Tennessee.
Yep. And I would agree with you. It looks like where a lot of our national parks are, those are like the zones that are red, right? And even in this area in Alabama and Georgia, I used to live in Atlanta, and we used to go to the national parks around Georgia and in Alabama. Those are definitely areas where there are national parks at, especially right here at the tip. That's like near Douglas, Bill, and Lithia Springs. There's some parks over there. And then like especially in this area going into Georgia, into Alabama, Mississippi. So lots of parks, lots of mountainous regions up in here in the Smokies and the Rockies over here. All right. But what are y'all noticing? Are humans in those areas that have a lot of diversity?
No, because most of them are protected areas.
So you might argue, right, that some of the protected areas have like the most biodiversity in it, right? But what about humans? Are we close to those areas where there's a lot of biodiversity? Look at California. Look at Florida. Even around the areas of the Smoky Mountains, you can in Georgia and Alabama and Mississippi a little bit. All right. Humans like resources too. All right. Animals like resources. Plants need, plants are plentiful. Where plants are, there's animals. Where there's animals, we follow. Okay. So where you have biodiversity hotspots, you'll notice at least close to them or nearby, you probably would find a lot of humans as well. Okay. Whatever's water source there, or the temperature or the soil richness or whatever it is, yeah, we're not separate from animals, Dylan. You're right. Whatever they like, we like. So we're gonna follow right behind them. All right, right behind them. All right, so I played it already. Go. So one of the things that you may have noticed, this one here is talking about islands, and they're showing you like small islands, the rate of extinction versus large islands. They're showing you the rate of probability of colonization, where you find humans close to mainland, far from mainland. Then they're showing you the intersection between the different species. So you've got increasing richness going along the x-axis. All right. Oops. So, go back. Humans, us, we are more likely to colonize areas where there's a lot of biodiversity, a lot of resources. And then as a result of that, species and extinction rates increase. All right. So richness goes down, extinction rates go up as colonization increases, right? So it's a lot of.
But Miss Wallace, that's only when human beings decide to urbanize it and destroy environments.
Right, exactly. Maybe we need to rethink how we urbanize our environment, our world. And then you know what? There are many, many people researching this right now. I'm taking a class right now called Sustainability, and it's called NatureBased Solutions. And how do you implement those in an urban environment? And so there's a ton of researchers out there across, especially in European nations, that are actively working on these solutions. Okay, and one of the solutions that they have proposed is this idea of habitat corridors. And I'm going to play this video, and I'd like for you to think: is this something we could do in America? Is this something we could do in Memphis? If it is, what benefit would it have? Nicholas Martin is still stuck out in Never Never Land. That is not good. So hopefully he'll come back in. So how do you feel? Do you feel like this is something we could do in the United States? Let's say yes or no. Kristen, you're very optimistic. Yes. Thank you. In the chat box, can y'all let me know? Seems possible. I would invite you all. Thank you, Millie. Yeah, we could definitely. Ivan, possibly. Max, yeah. You know what? Next time you guys are out there and out driving along the interstate, I want you all to like take a moment while your parents are driving, because you're not driving yet. Don't do this while you're driving. If you're practicing driving, don't do this while you're driving. But look out while you're driving along the interstate and look to the sides of what's going on. Look, all right. I am recording this, Nicholas, so you can go back and watch it, okay? All right, because I am recording it. I'm gonna post it. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, as you guys are looking out on the interstate, look to your left, look to your right, look around, okay? And one of the things I started to pay more attention to as I have been like developing this lesson out and just looking out is that watching where the water goes and looking to see why there. I was like, I always wonder, like, why haven't they knocked these trees down and built some houses over here? Why is it like just forests over here and like there's a creek running over there? And then I like for you to think about like, how do these forest areas that are in our city, how do they connect? Do they connect? And maybe should we be more intentional about the connection? What would that do to our environment here in the city? What would be some of the benefits of creating maybe something like a a corridor, a habitat corridor like this in our city, what could be some of the immediate benefits that you can think of? What time is it? 11:38. I've been talking. Whoa, it's 11:38. All right.
You said we create a what?
What are some immediate benefits from having like a eco bridge like this? What is something we could potentially
trade?
Trade? Maybe more plants and animals.
Less roadkill.
Less roadkill, yes. So that would be one thing, right? Less roadkill. 100%.
You can reconnect habitats and restore the wildlife movement.
Yeah, restore wildlife, increase the biodiversity. Yes. What else could you do? What else could we see possibly? We plant more green plants. What else could we measure that might go up or down?
There might be less litter because it'd be more aesthetically pleasing on the highway and people wouldn't want to litter as much.
Exactly. So litter might go down, definitely. Anything else we could possibly measure and see? What about carbon dioxide? What may be the result of building bridges like this? No, less, I hope, Austin. Thank you. Thank you, Walt. So less carbon dioxide to breathe, right? Less. All right. I understand what you're saying, Austin. Gotcha. So less. Thank you, Walt, and thank you, Austin. So like less CO2. And then maybe we might even notice temperature decrease, possibly. Maybe a lot more of this will have us to have more of a shadowy area. Maybe the temperature would go down, possibly. I don't know. So those are maybe some immediate benefits that we could actually measure. All right. So as you all are designing out, and as we start looking at, Cypress Creek and how this creek runs and how we can help solve and help that community, maybe we might want to think about ways we can maybe incorporate and create bridges and links of habitats to increase the biodiversity to help with the purification of some of the, purification of the toxins. And maybe, yes, you're right, Dylan, mental health issues could drastically be altered, right? Because we like nature, right? That's, what was that, biophilia? One of the words that's in the I said last PowerPoint, I believe. Biophilia, the love of nature, we like it. It helps us. It's really good for us. So possibly could go. Mental health issues could drastically decrease. So there could be some immediate benefits to our community. So on Monday, when you guys come back, you all are going to focus on, you're still designing your three-dimensional model. At least you're getting used to Tinkercad, I hope. I hope. And then we're going to start really diving into what's happening in that community and understanding how to do testing about, soil and water, and how do you do that, and what are you quantifying, and what are some of the impacts. We'll look at how can we create maybe habitat corridors, like what could that look like, and you all, we are going to explore that, and I'm going to challenge you all. Thank you, Evie. I'm glad you figured it out. I'm going to challenge you all to think about how we could potentially create an urban habitat corridor. Okay. All right. Any questions? I'm going to pause this. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to pause this.